I could see the comments. I'll have to open my
You can't see
phone.
the comments. Okay, open that up, Mark. Ladies and gents, welcome back. This is a special Marty and Clyde show. Marty's not here. Marty's off doing his own thing. He's off shooting animals out in the woods, shooting at some food. So I thought, why not call on my buddy, Mark Nixon? Thank you so much for joining.
Oh, I'm excited. I was like, wow, I'm getting an invite here. This is good.
This is going to be a lot of fun. So the way the show goes, this is a preamble for everybody and just also for you, Mark. The way the show goes on Wednesday evenings is we're gonna talk about a number of issues in the news. We're gonna talk for about the first hour together. And if you think that we're ignoring the chat and we're not paying attention to the chat, well, it's because we're hard pressed into these things. But after the first hour, that's when we're gonna address the chat and we're going to get into what you guys are talking about. And if you've got any questions, comments for myself, for Mark in general, just don't have to hold on to them. Talk freely in the chat, but we'll be addressing those at the end because there's a lot to get into tonight because it's crazy what's been happening in North America.
Okay. And I just wanted to add, so I'm also streaming this onto my channel, but if you want to be part of the questions, move on over to Clyde's channel so that we can look at those questions because I won't be responding to the questions on my feed. Also, I don't know what Clyde has right now, so I'm in the dark, but we're gonna definitely take a look at what he's prepared for us today, and we're gonna have at her.
Well, it's an ongoing feed is really what it is. So, I mean, we're going to be looking at stuff I just pulled up just before we started going live because I've been covering these stories for a while. Anyway, let's get right into it. Mark, it's been a minute since you and I have talked. Actually, we met in Vancouver just before I shipped on out of Canada, and now I'm down here in Texas. Everybody notices the flags now. And I've moved on. You spent some time off in Vietnam. You had an awesome vacation, right?
Yeah, I was away for most of July, and I try to tell people. I said, "Hey, I don't leave. I always work." I did 3 straight years of just working, grinding, creating content. So that was actually quite difficult for me to step away for 3 weeks. But I got young kids, so I need to, have these memorable moments while they still like dad. Once they're teenagers, they're going to be like, peace. Where's the money? And just peace out. So I just wanted to have that moment. But I'll tell you, I was more stressed out on vacation than I am when I'm working. Because when I'm working, I'm in the zone. On vacation, I was like, man, how do I relax here? I don't drink alcohol, so most people they relax by drinking. For me, my pleasure is actually working. So, but I had a lot of fun. Yeah, I know it's weird, isn't it? But I had a lot of fun. Vietnam is a very interesting country. Very different than Canada. I mean, you go there, there's nobody consuming any street candy, none of that. There's also no homeless people, high trust society. If you dropped your wallet, they'd pick it up right away. The people are extremely hardworking. It's night and day. High trust society. You could go anywhere at middle of the night and, the police officers do not have firearms. They have batons and you don't even see them. I mean, there's no crime in the country.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, I spent a lot of time in Japan, so I'm assuming it's going to be like a similar kind of feel, except a lot cheaper because I hear the food there is amazing and it's absolutely dirt cheap. You can stay in hotels for basically nothing and you can live the high life for like the cheapest amount of money. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, usually when I travel, I budget between $200 to $300. Well, it just depends where I'm going, but that's pretty standard, $200 to $300 per night. And in Canada or you go anywhere in the US, that's just that's you're probably not going to get a nice place. But in Vietnam, under $200, you're getting a 5-star brand new hotel, breakfast, unlimited buffet breakfast. You could probably find places for $25, but why would you if you could you budget for $200? That's still quite affordable. And then just go to the street, eat $1, $2 for Michelin, like the high end, nice meals.
Good stuff.
You know what?
That you gotta like go get yourself checked for parasites afterwards.
Yeah, you know what I learned is we're getting ripped off in North America.
Oh,
we are getting so ripped off. Like there's so much red tape, there's so much taxes, there's so many rules that it makes everything so expensive. So yeah, we make more than these people, but I mean, it's so expensive here. You go there, you're like, well, this is kind of how it should be, where you could go. I didn't even look at the prices. I just get whatever I wanted. It was great.
Oh, that's amazing. And you know what? One other thing that Vietnam has over Canada, a trade deal.
Hey, they also have gender rice, whatever that is. I was looking for gender rice. I said I'm on a mission to find this Canada gender rice. We sent $20 million for gender rice. Well, I did find rice. 20 pounds of rice was $1. $1 for 20 pounds of rice in Vietnam.
And it's good stuff, right? We're not talking like bottom of the barrel.
I don't know. I ate out every day. Food was delicious, but I didn't buy the gender rice or whatever rice they had.
I'm sure that didn't go to anything good. It probably just lined somebody's pocket, and that's all that really is. Because when the Canadian government sends foreign aid, as we know, any governments, when they send foreign aid from the West, it's money from poor people in rich countries going to rich people in poor countries. That's not really going to help anybody out at all. But here's where we are in Canada right now. We're in a situation where, well, I'm not in Canada. I'm in the United States now. I keep thinking back to this. I'm like, holy crap, I'm not even in Canada. I care about this because it's a big part of my life. Most of my friends are in Canada. I mean, I grew up in Canada. I like Canada. I don't want to see Canada go down, but this is just a crazy shitstorm that basically is hitting Canada at this moment. And it's not because of Donald Trump. It's not because of the administration in the United States. America has asserted itself in the world at this point as, here's what's going on. We have a new foreign trade policy, and every other country kind of got on with it. Talk about Vietnam. Vietnam started with I think it was a 40% tariff, and then it went down after they negotiated to 20%, and then they further negotiated it down to 10. I think it's across the board at this point that most countries are sitting at 10. I actually have the numbers here. We can show it on the screen. So here's a list of a ton of the countries that are dealing with the United States at the moment. And we have, Australia, 10% tariffs across the board. That's what they started at. They're still there. Bangladesh started at 37, negotiated down to 20, then negotiated down to 10. 10 seems to be the hallmark across the board. Some of these countries, Indonesia started at 32. Then I remember when they went down to 19 and they were happy about it, but then they eventually got it down to 10. That's where it's going. Vietnam started at 46%. Because they were a closed economy. This is how it works, right? Then they went to 20, back down to 10. Now, Canada can't seem to get this scenario. This has been the MO across the planet. The American economy is where everybody wants to do business, right? It's not, that's no secret to the world. Everybody wants to do business there. So the United States has said, okay, well, there's an entry fee. It's going to be 10% to everybody, but we're going to negotiate you down to 10% so that we can open up your economies and foster more trade across the planet. Vietnam historically had a lot of trade barriers, restrictions. They opened up. Now you can buy American cars in Vietnam, in Indonesia. The Europeans have had to open up to American companies offering their products into Europe. Who's better off? All the consumers. In my estimate, the consumers win across the board, but Canada is this one nation that's the last and only holdout on this whole thing. What's your take on this? Because you're there, you're still a consumer there. Prices are not going down; they're continuing to go up. But you pay the highest cell phone rates in the planet. You pay the highest fees for banking. You pay the highest prices for dairy, for all kinds of things in Canada. And we almost thought we thought we were going to have reprieve on Friday, but it turned out going the other way.
Yeah. Well, you know what, what's really interesting about those numbers that you just showed everybody is you have to think all these countries are on the other side of the planet.
Yes.
Yeah. And Canada, we have the longest undefended border on the planet with the number one economy on the planet. And all they're trying to do is, so basically in Canada, we have cartels. We have the dairy cartel. We have the cell phone cartel. Like the entire country is, a cartel of some sort. It's either grocery store And what the US is basically doing is like, you guys got to dismantle these cartels, and including, and what looks like the one of the attributes that destroyed the deal is we can't get news on Facebook. They got all these restrictions, and they want to charge 5% for online streaming from US giants, so that they could basically funnel that money back into CBC and Canadian content. We all know it's just to prop up those, and it affects independent media like myself and yours for discoverability, because they put their hands on there. So actually the US was trying to do us a favor and get rid of these restrictions. And the liberals, the only thing the liberals think about, is it make life more affordable for Canadians? No. Is it make life better for Canadians? No. The only thing they think about is power. That is it. They don't care what the damage is going to be, as long as they can maintain power. And they know that they got the lobbying groups of all these cartels, and they have to make everybody happy. And then, the liberal insiders, that's all they care about. It was found out, I saw that we had the very best trade deal in the world. They were willing to, get rid of softwood lumber. They were willing to reduce the tariffs on our steel, aluminum. Basically, the deal that it looks like we were being offered was a great economic deal. And the reason that we didn't want that is because the more elbows up, like the strategy of the liberals is, if they, make Donald Trump look bad, turn down the deal, Mark Carney, Doug Ford, and all the liberal people and the lefties, they go crazy for it. So it goes up in the polls. But later on, who gets punished? It's the people that are working in this country. And what's really unfortunate for Canada is 40% of the population is either senior or below the age of working age. So only 60% of the population works, of which 25% of the population works for the government, which is over 5 million people. So you got the seniors, right? The seniors are not working. No, I'm not saying all the seniors and there's a lot of boomers out there that are common sense people, and they want the best for the country, and those are the people I really love. But there's a lot of
you really gotta watch about the boomers. If you generalize boomers, they're in the chat. I don't like it.
I'm saying that ex-government employees, and there's a big group of people that are not working. They want the benefits, the social safety net. They want the benefit because, the kids aren't really taking care of the parents anymore. So they want the government to take care of them. So we got this huge group of people. Plus, they unloaded all the immigration into Canada so that they would vote for the Liberal Party. We know their tactic of what they did. So It basically made it so, the Conservative lost the last election by 480,000 votes. That's it. So it was 2.45%. It would have been the Conservatives winning. And they use the mainstream media to try to convince the population that nobody cares, nobody wants Conservatives, when over 8.1 million people voted for change. They voted for prosperity. They voted for pipelines, east, west, north, south. They voted for their future, more freedom, better economic deal with the United States, actually putting Canada first for a change instead of economic destruction, going to fly to Europe. So Mark Carney's flying to Europe right now. Europe.
Oh, he's gone again.
As soon as things hits the fan, he goes to Europe.
Goodbye. Thanks for voting for me.
Yeah, he's gone. He's going to Europe. And who knows how many commitments to Ukraine he's going to do while he's there.
No kidding.
And then we have online, we see China is celebrating what's going on in Canada, because there's only two countries that retaliated against the United States. It's China and Canada. So China's on their media, their propaganda media chain, they're all celebrating the liberals and what they're doing to stick, because they're like, you know what, our strategy is great, and look, Canada's doing the same, so it's justifying what they've done to the United States. We're in big trouble in this country. We need a mass awakening event, and I don't know what it's going to take. 1 million job losses, 2 million job losses. How far does the country need to go before change is required? We're not going to get the change from the Liberal government. Look what they just did with this trade deal. Instead of putting Canada first, we got you know, reports are coming out that the next deal that the U.S. offer is going to be, it won't be the same deal. It will be worse.
Oh,
And,
yeah. You don't come to the table with like a great deal, have them walk away for political reasons, because it's pretty obvious it was for political reasons. Because the excuses they give, they turned out to be BS right away. Like the French thing. They said, oh, they want to they want to tell the French they can't speak French anymore in Canada. And you're like, are you kidding me? That is the dumbest. Like, why would they even put that on the table? That's not something. It's them obviously saying that, well, you know, we didn't want a tax on our companies trying to provide a service for you, an extra tax on them so that they can pay to produce French content. That's different than saying, no, we want to ban French from Canada. That's crazy.
Did you see the video I made with Melanie Jolie? So they send Bimbo, zero brain cell, Melanie Jolie, to respond to, we found out that it had nothing to do with French. What do you respond to that? And then Melanie Jolie goes off on like a 2.5 to 3 minute rant about, I have no idea I still don't know what she said. And at the very end, I put in the clip from,
Man, you tweet a lot, but I just found the tweet, so I'm going to share it so everybody can see it, because this is just nonsense. This is, get ready everybody for, I think, about 2 minutes of nonsense right here.
What do you make of President Trump's comments that the Prime Minister was fabricating the issue around the protection of the French language, and how he says that he loves French Canadian people? It's completely a
133,000 views.
I'm in love with one too, you know.
I gotta speed it up.
The question is not about love. The question is about sovereignty and what we stand for in this country. We're a country that believes in having 2 official languages, and that's part of why we decided decades ago, years ago, more than 150 years ago, to make this important alliance between English and French people. And, you know, we eventually also have a lot of reconciliation work to do. But that was at the core of the creation of our country. And you know why French and English Canadians decided to eventually create that country of Canada? Because we didn't want to be part of the US. And so that's part of our DNA. Now, forward 150 years later, we need to make sure that we continue to protect that strong alliance. And that is why making sure that we are sovereign, that we're able to take our own decisions when it comes to protection of our bilingualism is key. And I think, of course, French Canadians agree with that, but I really think also English Canadians do so. And as the Minister of Industry, I would like to highlight that it's not only a question of French language. It's more than that. It's a question of protecting the workers in the cultural sector. And that is up to 900,000 people working in our creative industries. By the way, you journalists are all part of that industry. But also, you know, the vast array of, from film production to museums, etc. We need to be able, as a country, to have cultural policies to protect these workers. And that's what our colleague Mark Miller is working on, but also that's why the Prime Minister had to stand up for it.
One of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Absolutely. That was just, it was 2 minutes of nonsense. Absolute nonsense. She didn't answer the question. She went on and gave a historical, like a revisionist historical lesson about how the French and the English came together, and they were like, what, singing Kumbaya together? They hated each other. Like, this is
no, but Clyde, you're forgetting the biggest point. The biggest point is they got caught lying. It's all a lie. They lied about it. They got called out by the media that, hey guys, we have proof that you guys lied about, you know, trying to protect French and English labeling on your Tostitos chip or whatever it was. You know, like, look, this is Donald Trump even coming out. Everybody's like, I don't know what they're fucking talking about. Sorry, I don't know what they're talking about. And yeah, and then she comes out with that. Why do you think that video I made got 133,000 views? Because it
absolute nonsense.
Because it shows people that these are the people in charge of the US-Canada file. We have these people. I mean, honestly, you could take somebody that is downtown East Side right now consuming who knows what would put together something more coherent than that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely true. But they're playing a part, right? I mean, they're all playing a part. They're all blowhards. They're bloviating, doing this stuff. Even Olivia Chow came out and she's bloviating about it. Why? Because she has an election coming up. I did my own little edit of her thing because I thought that this would just be this just made way more sense. It was a better version than what she put out. I said Cracky Chan. That's obviously the nickname of Olivia Chow. Cracky Chan standing up to Trump the Toronto way. I think this is a better version of it.
Canada is in a senseless trade war. Donald Trump is attacking us again. But in this city, we stand up to bullies, and we do it the Toronto way.
Leave your fobs at your front door. Because they're breaking into your home to steal your car. They don't want anything else. So that they're arresting have guns on them, and they're not toy guns. They're real guns. They're loaded.
That's the Toronto way. Give up. You absolutely just give up on it. Like the police suggest, why don't you just lay down the negotiations, leave your fobs at the front door, and just take America, allow America to come in and get what they want. It's so crazy. And then you have guys like Doug Ford that are using this. I don't see, like, Doug Ford's got no election coming up. What's his big gain in this whole thing, do you think?
Okay, wait. So I don't know if you know, but I posted on it too. What's wrong with the people of Ontario? So Doug Ford's kiss my butt situation where he's got so much real estate, it's going to be so hard to miss his butt. So he comes out with that, and then they have polls that came out right after that, and he went from not having a majority to now he has a majority. People are so stupid.
Yes.
It's insane. People are so dumb. And listen to this. This is how crazy this whole thing is. Doug Ford, Olivia Chow, Jason Kenney. Okay, these people said they want to cut off oil and gas to the United States, start tariffing that stuff. They come out and it's like, dude, have you not looked at a map? You guys are seriously this brain dead. So Danielle Smith had to come out today and say, we're not cutting off anything, because if we cut off oil, the pipeline line 5 is going to, it goes down. There's no, so listen to this. The people that blocked the pipeline east are the same people that are coming out now and saying we need to tariff the oil. The thing is, there's no pipeline that goes to the East Coast. All of it, the stuff goes down to the US, then back into Canada. So if let's say we charged a 50% tariff to go to the US, they would charge 100% tariff to send it back to Ontario and Quebec, meaning they would be energyless. It's so insane. And you know what's the most insane part? Is the people out east that voted Liberal would cheer this on. We are living through some very scary times in Canada. It's like as if people are literally running off a cliff, looking at the cliff, looking at it and running off the cliff, and says, yeah, this is such a good idea. It's like we have brain damage. People have brain damage. That's the only thing I could describe it.
Yeah, it's a great way to describe it. But Doug Ford, he comes out and he says this, like they're going to put a pipeline in the ground in the next, 24 hours or something, all the way from Alberta to freaking Ontario, apparently. But this is the nonsense that's coming out of these people.
You're just speaking about electricity and all of the provinces that send it down there, but I know that oil is obviously a big factor as well. You've called on all the provinces to use energy as leverage. I know you spoke to Danielle Smith on Monday. She's obviously still opposed to that idea. From your point of view, how did that conversation go? And is there anything you think you can do to get her on board with your approach?
Well, we had a great conversation. We get along quite well. We may disagree on certain items, but I'm going to be flying out there to pay her a visit. This is why we need the pipeline. We've needed this for 50 years, going from west over to east. And we're going to work on that. We're going to work collaboratively with Alberta and Premier Wab Kinew. We have to get his approval, and Scott Moe, and everyone has to work together. I'm confident that's going to happen. But Premier Smith came up with some great ideas. Right now, we're getting our fuel and our natural gas coming down to the U.S. and coming back up to Canada. Craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. And the natural gas coming from Pennsylvania coming up. Well, we already have an existing pipeline, so we're going to reroute that, and we won't have to be reliant on the U.S. Isn't that amazing that we have energy sovereignty once we build this pipeline? We won't have to rely on anyone in the entire world. And that's our plan, and we're going to go as quickly as possible. So,
what a dope! Honestly, like
No,
what
but
a dope! This is what Alberta's been arguing for this for I don't know how long. We need to get to the shores so we can sell our energy to other countries other than the United States, so we don't have to give it to them at a discount. And now all of a sudden, it's an epiphany just happened to Doug Ford. He's like, oh wait, yeah, our oil goes into the United States and then comes back out. We can't make threats.
No, but Jason Kenney was the former premier of Alberta. What's his problem? He says, let's cut the oil. Let's cut the oil. I said, dude, man, you used to be the premier of Alberta. What, like, honestly, this just proves to me that I think they do. Obviously, they know. Obviously, they know. They're politicians. They know all the pipelines. They know everything. They're just acting. They're acting, and they're really, really bad at acting. You know what it is? They think that we are all dumb. Unfortunately, there is a lot of dumb people out there. They keep voting for these people.
Yeah, I mean, they're in power. That makes me realize, yeah, there's a lot of dumb people. It's just that's
I'm calling it what it is. I mean, I don't want to be polite. Clearly there's so many people that I do have to say, I feel bad because there are a lot of people that have to work 3 freaking jobs just to survive in this economy. Yeah. They created this mess where you have to work 3 jobs. Before it'd just be one person working in a household, and you'd be able to have 4 kids, have a boat, do whatever you want, invest. And now their properties are worth millions. And then you have other people, now they're working 3 jobs. Our youth are screwed. They're only building rentals for us. There's no new detached or anything. Like you're going to be renting forever and be happy. And the thing is that people are working so much, they don't know about this pipeline that doesn't go across the country. They're not informed enough to actually know. So they rely on what's coming out of the media. They rely on what's coming out of Doug Ford. And that's what these politicians are relying on, that people aren't informed. So they could say whatever they want and people are going to believe them. Luckily, there's people like us that are showing everybody. And that's why they are going after us. I don't know if you know the story with CTV going after independent content creators for using a 60-second clip in a 20-minute video. And then they're taking other content creators' clips and showing the entire video and just doing like a 1-second, introduction and play the video, right?
When did this happen?
They're going after Wyatt Claypool. It was just today, luckily, they were gonna Northern Perspective came out and said that CTV on the last moment reversed their takedown, and they were about to get a channel strike. They had like 6 videos that they had tagged or something. They're going after independent content creators. They chose a handful to start off with a batch.
They're abusing the copyright system to do this. Like they're not even using the law to go after them. In fact, they're not even using Canadian law. This is the DMCA is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. It's American law. This is the craziest thing. I have to explain this to people. Canada was so lazy, didn't want to spend the money legislating this, so they just went, "Oh, America." They figured out what we need to do for copyright in the digital age. So they wrote it into their law. So we're just gonna go with that instead of actually write their own legislation. This is legitimately a thing. So everybody leans back on the DMCA, and under the DMCA, there's Section 230 that protects, platforms. Basically, protects platforms against being taken down for the content that's on the platform. If it's like YouTube or whatever, user-based content creator platforms. So the platform's not responsible for what you're saying on their platform, but they had to find a middle ground for copyright issues. So what they did was they said, okay, well, here's here's some criteria and here's what you can sue for. Here's the justification for fair use. The fair use doctrine comes out of the USMC, or it's not the USMC, the DMCA. It sounds so very similar. The Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And so because fair use doctrine is one of these things that us content creators heavily legally lean on, because we have to show the news clips, it's within our legal use to use these, like fairly use these as and have commentary. You can do certain things. You can have it for educational purposes, for commentary, and you know, if it's completely changing the nature of the original work. And so obviously in our category, we're falling under fair use in the commentary space and education, actually. So this is what's so very interesting to me is, and I know it's long-winded, but because the CBC, a state-run broadcaster from the country of Canada, is going after independent creators in Canada using American law, copyright law, and then I'd say a kind of a flawed system that's actually not through the legal system, but it's through YouTube's back end to defraud YouTubers. That's insidious. That's actually insidious.
But Clyde, you're forgetting that one of the biggest points is that we us Canadians pay with our own money for these people to produce news, and we can't even listen to this. They're turning off all their comment sections. So when they put out their propaganda and narrative and pieces, you can't even talk about it. And then if you try to make a video to talk about it, they shut you down. So not only can you not comment in their comment section, but if you try to make a video, they're going to take your channel down. That is the only other countries that you would see this is North Korea and China. That is it. So,
and this is not unprecedented for Canada as well, because Canada, well, for the CBC, it was a number of, it was about over a year ago. The CBC, I reported on this story. There was a YouTube channel called Real Talk Politics, and they did shorts, and it was fantastic. They gangbusters in the algorithm. They figured it out. They knew how to get the message out there. And what did CBC do? They found this. They found it because it was ranking higher than the CBC. That's what aggravated them. And so, what was her name? Nora Young, who used to do the show Spark for CBC. She does this hit piece on this YouTuber and works with YouTube on the back end to communicate with them to have the channel taken down on some nefarious grounds that it used AI at some point. Total BS. And then I actually went to and guess what? They made a video bragging about it. I went to the ombudsman with it and said, you're breaking your own ethics and standards on this. And the ombudsman admitted, yeah, this was against our standards. So we're changing the title. That's the extent of where they went. We're going to change the title so it's no longer bragging.
You know what I'm going to do, Clyde? You know what I'm going to, when CBC gets taken down, defunded, dismantled, kaput, gone, we're going to throw a national party in Canada. I'm going to fly you back. We're going to throw a party in every single city across Canada, flood the downtowns, and it's going to be the biggest, best party this country has ever had. And we're going to throw it across the nation. The world is going to see the demise of the propaganda CBC, and we are going to have the sickest party. It will be bigger than the Super Bowl in Canada.
It'll be like the Berlin Wall coming down, because it is the digital wall. It's what they're constructing, this digital wall of information. You can't get information from outside. I mean, the Chinese do this, right? They have the firewall, the Great Firewall. The North Koreans do it. They restrict what information. You could get put to death for watching a South Korean drama in North Korea. It's unbelievable. Canada's not that far off. I'm not kidding. I mean, obviously not putting people to death, unless they have cancer or something, and then they just offer them MAID. But they literally they're shutting people down. They're shutting down speech in Canada. This is why I'm so glad I'm in the United States. I don't know how you're functioning, man. I got the Second Amendment. The First Amendment, sorry. The Second Amendment is to protect the First Amendment, but I can say what I want about Canada, about the CBC. I can say what I want about the politicians, and screw them if they don't like it.
Yeah, and you know, one thing is, and for the people out there that are doubting all of this information, going, you know what, I don't believe it. All you have to do is look at the Edmonton police. They came out with an advertisement showing that if you see hate, report it. Report your neighbor for a Facebook post of a meme, or report if you felt something inside your heart that was negative and you're like, oh, that just hurt my feelings. You are supposed to report it as hate. And then they provided examples of what hate is. You know what hate is to Edmonton police? I want that person deported. How soft have we become? I want criminals deported. Criminals. You want a criminal? You say that you want a criminal deported? You will be sent straight to the hotline for Edmonton police. And you know what? So what we did, us content creators, and Pleb Reporter did it best. He went and tried to call the line. And it was Canadians were so furious. So I love you guys out there. You guys are like the best. When you see something so absurd, you need to act on it. So for example, everybody called this line. We got so many calls for hate. This guy called me fat. Somebody called me fat. I'm crying right now. You need to go arrest them.
That's great.
They got so many calls that they had to dismantle the whole thing. They had spent how many tens of thousands painting buses of hate? I don't think they're in commission right now. I haven't seen them in a while, but this whole thing blew up on them, and it's because the public, you know, this is what I have to say. If you notice something that really bothers you and you're like, this is not right, you cannot sit there idle. We all need to stand up and say enough. For example, the guy spray painting nature, you know, God bless the person that passed away. But in BC, there's no other rock that's painted, sir. So you would look around and see no other rock painted. You have this permanent paint that doesn't come off, and you're spray painting nature. I'm sorry, but people need to take the can away from the guy, report the guy, film the guy. We need to stop this. This can't happen in this country. And if we just sit there idle and go, well, I'm just going to let him paint a couple rocks, it's going to be fine. Then what happens, and this is the same for garbage, when somebody throws one piece of garbage on the ground or paint one rock, other people see that. What do you think they do? Everybody throws their garbage on the ground and everybody starts painting rocks. It needs to stop in its tracks. So that's for Edmonton police. That's for painting and graffitiing our nature. That's for throwing trash anywhere other than a garbage can. We are not a trash society. We need to be treated with respect. If somebody's coming here as a visitor or somebody just got here, we welcome to the country. Treat us treat us better than what you treated before. Learn our culture. Assimilate to our culture. We will bring you in with our arms wide open. But if you start throwing trash everywhere, we're going to call you out, shame you. Everybody's going to know who you are, because there's a woman that threw a bunch of trash in Abbotsford. She was shamed online. The police gave her 2 $500 tickets and some, I think, community service, or maybe not. I don't know. But I know about the tickets. But that's not enough. We need to do something as people. We can't just rely on the government because they're failing us. We as the people have a lot of power and we know what to do. And I just gave you what we need to do. By the way,
go ahead.
By the way, I could see the comment section from my channel. So comment away. I could see everybody's comments.
Fair enough. So yeah, I understand. These are the things that we need to do, but here's where the government comes in and they step in and they usurp that energy that people have. And we saw this happen during COVID, where they got people to rat each other out. And it's not a social ostracism thing. It's more of a hall monitor, people with their power trips and being able to rat each other out and tell on each other to the big big brother, government that we have. And I see that coming back. And there's something that happened in Ontario that just happened. And I did a video about it today, but I got to show you this. I don't know if you've seen this. You probably saw this. It was on all over Twitter. But this was out of a small town in Ontario. People freaking out, people ratting on a business for having some alcoholic beverages from America in there.
Amid the trade war, the federal government is urging people to continue buying Canadian. The sentiment certainly still strong, which is why some shoppers in Kemptville were surprised and upset to see American wine on shelves at a local grocery store. CTV's Dylan Dyson was in Kemptville and brings us more on this tonight. Dylan.
Yeah, Patricia, we were alerted to this by a viewer who said a store in Kemptville had set up a full display in the front of the beer and wine section, prominently selling wine from California. I saw the wine on display this morning, and within hours of contacting Loblaw, the dusty U.S. bottles were pulled from the shelves once again. American wine temporarily back on store shelves in Kemptville, Ontario.
I don't know why they would do it.
At the Johnson's, your independent grocer, on Tuesday, bottles of red and white CK Montague wine from California were displayed prominently at the front of the store's beer and wine section.
I think we should be sticking to Canadian wine, not American, especially what's going on with Trump.
It's not my choice that they would do that, but I choose not to purchase anything.
It's unclear how long the products had been on the shelves for. A viewer said they first noticed the wine for sale on Sunday. The bottle is still on display Tuesday morning. But when CTV News reached out to Loblaw, the parent company of the Your Independent Grocer chain, it said the wine was put on the shelves without the approval of the store owner. And once identified, it was removed immediately.
It bothers me they don't sell it at the liquor store. We're trying to, I don't boycott the States, but I'm not trying to buy anything from the States purposely. It bothers me. I wouldn't buy it.
Ontario implemented a...
Okay, that's enough. I mean, it is.
Hey, Clyde, I think the videos have an echo, so you'll have to click one of the setting items to...
I know exactly what's causing
the echo cancellation. So I just want to say something. You know what this is? This is COVID 2.0.
Absolutely.
Remember, they're like, that person's not wearing a mask. They're not wearing a mask.
Get him. Go get him. Everybody get him. Policeman. Go arrest him. Beat him up on the streets.
Hey, wait. 6 feet. 6 feet. And we all found out the 6 feet and the mask is all BS. It's all BS. The mask, remember we saw the person with the vape, the doctor, he put the mask on, he had the vape, and he said the particles are huge, the vape. But the particles for a virus are tiny, and the vape was just go everywhere, and so the mask is like, the only time the mask is important is if you are sick, wear the mask, because when you talk, you spit. So the spit goes out. So that makes sense. Yeah. But if you're not sick, don't wear a mask. All you're doing is suffocating yourself. You're breathing in your own air. I can't. Then you've basically damaged so many brains out there that people are still. And I saw 2 days ago somebody wearing a mask while driving alone in a car. How is that possible? Like, what are you going to get? You're in your own car. Why are you still wearing a mask? And every time you breathe into that mask, you're killing brain cells because you're breathing your own CO2 back and forth into your... Go take a paper bag, blow into a paper bag for a few hours, and then see how you feel. You don't feel good because carbon dioxide builds up in your body and it kills your brain. It's ridiculous. And now they're doing with this. That's
the way you say it cracks me up.
Yeah, it's the truth, right? And then so with this alcohol, they're like, oh, they're selling some. You know what really bothers me is I don't like it when somebody tells me what I can and cannot do. In fact, I would go out of my way to purchase as much of that product as possible if somebody told me that I couldn't do it, because who's them to say what I can and cannot do? So right now we got a buy Canadian only thing. Like, we're going to only buy Canadian. First of all, our prime minister, he has zero assets in Canada. 0.5% of his net worth is in Canada and 90 something in the US. He's all American. Before, he needs to sell all of his assets, all of them, into cash. He can't be prime minister. How is he prime minister? And
Well, how's the elbows up and not getting called out as being a hypocrite? Because I mean, that's just ridiculous. You know, all of his assets are down there. I mean, Brookfield. Have you seen the building? The beautiful building in New York, Brookfield Place. It's astonishing.
He signed off on that move when he said he didn't do it. You know, we're living a massive theater. It's all a big act, and unfortunately, Canadians soak it up. They turn on each other. They report American booze being sold on a shelf when it should be Canadians' choice, your own choice, just like your own choice. If you want to put something in your body, go ahead and do it. Doesn't mean that you get to choose your own destiny in life. If you want
to deal with the consequences as well of those
exactly.
actions.
If you want to go and do something, then go and do it and deal with the consequences. That's the way I live my life. If you want to do dumb decisions, go ahead. But I'm not going to, that's on you. And then it's way better to be that way because that's what living is. Somebody controlling everything you see and every decision you make, that's not living. That's actually, you're in a prison. Probably prison would be better because you would just be served.
You wouldn't have to work for a living. Yeah, there you go. So Canada's not full of total idiots everywhere. There are some sensible people, and it seems like even in the provincial governments, there's some sensible people. Wab Kinu's an idiot. Doug Ford's a complete moron. David Eby, I mean, get started on David Eby. What a character.
Well, Clyde, I just want to say there's 8.1 million people that voted for common sense in Canada. There are millions upon millions of people that have a brain and it's functioning perfectly. And they try to lead us to believe that there's no conservatives with common sense when it's actually a lie. There are a lot of bright people in the country. Unfortunately, there is also the other side that they haven't figured it out yet, and that's okay. Maybe they'll come around. Let's. At the end of the day, we all want what's best for everybody. I mean, when I'm speaking, it's obviously through frustration, right? I mean, I need people to wake up.
And then, well, Danielle Smith came to the podium today and addressed these calls to ban oil into the United States, and just proves how ludicrous this is.
Although I understand the need to respond strongly to these tariffs, I cannot think of a more disastrous policy decision than cutting off or taxing Alberta's oil to the United States. Doing so would absolutely devastate the Canadian economy. It would not only extinguish the livelihoods of hundreds of thousands of Albertans, it would economically hobble our friends and neighbors in other provinces to the east. Let me explain why. And it's important that this be understood by every Canadian. If Canada were to put, let's say, a 50% export tariff on the 4 million barrels of oil that we export daily to the United States, the United States would immediately respond with a 50 to 100% export tariff on oil and natural gas that they export to Ontario, along with millions of barrels of diesel fuel and gasoline that Ontario and Quebec import from the Midwest. This would bring the economies of Ontario and Quebec to a grinding halt. Meanwhile, all those refineries in the United States that currently use Alberta's heavy oil would start looking to Venezuela for replacement heavy oil and reverse the pipelines northward to get it to Midwest refineries. As a result, we would lose the United States as a customer entirely and likely forever. This would result in the loss of about 500,000 jobs at a minimum, mostly in Alberta, but also hundreds of thousands of jobs in Ontario and Quebec. And if we cut off our oil entirely, what then? The same results, but even worse. The United States would, of course, respond and cut off all gasoline and diesel from their refineries to Ontario and Quebec, right as we turn into fall and winter. And unlike Canada, the United States has strategic oil reserves that Canada does not. So although their gasoline prices will increase, they will be able to keep them at relatively manageable prices, just as they have done through the Iran war. And without strategic oil reserves, Canada has no way to supply Ontario and Quebec with the oil, natural gas, and fuels that they would need in a timely fashion. The Toronto Stock Exchange would nosedive, along with millions of Canadians' investments, particularly our seniors. And small and medium and large energy companies across Canada would shutter and lay off their employees, unable to find a market for their product. There is a better way forward.
Yeah, there's absolutely a better way forward, and it wouldn't be these like this idiocy. At the end of the day, the United States came to the table with the best offer that they've given to anybody else in the world. The best offer. Everywhere else got huge tariffs at the beginning, negotiated down to get to 10%. 10% seems to be like that's the holy grail. I mean, that's what it's going to cost to get into the US economy, period. Now that sucks for a lot of Canada. Because I think a lot of Canada relied heavily on the fact that foreign investment would come into Canada with the explicit goal of having not to pay corporate tax in the United States, pay corporate tax in Canada, which is lower corporate tax, at the federal level, and then have free access to the United States. So it was cheaper to run and operate a business in Canada with the United States as your sole customer in mind. And that's why Canada, from the perspective of the United States, you have to look at this and say, that's unfair. That's unfair that you're enticing people to come into the country not to sell to your own domestic market, but to only sell to the United States. We should have those businesses here in America. They should be moving here. Why? No, that's not fair at all for us. And then when America started looking at the situation, what businesses can we sell our products to Canada through? And it's extremely limited. And so I think this is a huge mistake that Canada took tremendous, they took for granted the United States relationship to Canada, took advantage of it completely for far too long, and then put themselves in a position that's actually at the disadvantage of if the United States were to ever make any action towards changing that. Because what happens? There is going to be literally tens, hundreds of thousands of businesses leaving the country. That's what's going to happen.
You want to hear something insane? So basically, Canada's in a death spiral. And the reason is, and think about this, the Liberals come in, they go this net zero nonsense and destroy our energy sector. We rely basically 95% goes south. If you look at all the pipelines, we got one now, TMX to the coast, but 95% goes south. And they basically thought that this relationship with the US would stay the same forever. So they just basically didn't diversify trade. And what happens is now, after a decade of devastation, they're able to use the fear of Donald Trump when he's just standing up for the people of America, which is perfectly fine. Canada should stand up for the people of Canada. We should be able to have the best deal with the United States and also be the richest country on planet Earth. The only thing holding us back is bad management. We have the number one amount of water on the planet, the second largest landmass. We have uranium. We have unlimited wood. We have third or fourth largest oil reserves on the planet, and we do it in an economically safe way. We have population that can actually move and do things. We have access to the number one economy on the planet. We have everything. The reason we are so poor is because we have the worst managers imaginable. Yes. They get rich, we get poor. That's how it is. They give their corporate elites and all of the insiders all the best contracts. They tell us that we can't buy US booze. They tell us that we're not allowed to travel to the US elbows up. They turn everybody against each other. We putting us into groups with race and different things. We don't care about race. We love all people, but they do it in a way so that we are too distracted, and then they control the media. So we have a big problem in Canada, and the more that people wake up to the fact that we are being decimated on purpose, this is all on purpose. We don't have to be this way. If we just had the right people and if everybody woke up tomorrow and just said, you know what, tomorrow we are no longer going to work. And we're not going to go back to work until we decide that the entire country is abandoning all of these anti-energy policies and we start building real projects tomorrow. Like just build. Enough talking, start building and start acting as if our life depended on it, because it does. It does. We cannot, I posted on my Twitter X account just so that the elbows up fans would understand it's not going to happen, but I just put it into perspective. If Russia decided to come to the Arctic North and attack Canada to take us over,
you're sitting ducks. America's the only ones that are going to take care of it.
But if America says, yeah, you're on your own, think about it. Are we are elbows upping our number one partner, trading partner. How fast would they change their mind and say, you know what, maybe we should be partners with the US? Like,
well, actually, even before any invasions take place, I think that it would be wise for the United States to say, in the next round of like, okay, well, we're gonna do stuff, back to Canada. If you're gonna retaliate, if you're gonna put these giant tariffs on the United States, perhaps one of the things we should do is just say, put it on an announcement. It wouldn't cost the U.S. $1. It wouldn't cost the taxpayers any money or cause inflation to go up in any way. From the Canadian side, products coming into the United States, we could say we're no longer gonna protect boats going to and from Canada. That's it. So you're on your own. If you want to, want pirates to board your ships and take the cargo and take it places, you better get a security force going because we're done. We're not going to do it anymore. And good luck. Good luck, everybody. I think things would change very quickly on the Canadian side. I mean, how many billions of dollars worth of trade is going up and how much there would be no insurance. Canada wouldn't be able to get insurance on any of these shipping cargo like that. That would be the end of that. And people would be like, well, I'll only ship to the United States. And if you want to buy it, you buy it through the United States into Canada if you want that, Canada. I mean, this is the thing. Canada doesn't realize that if America really wanted to go after Canada and hurt Canada, it would be very easy. It would be very easy. But the thing is, people don't have this hard feeling against Canada and Canadians specifically. Like Americans are they're like, we love Canada. What are you talking about? Canada, great people, all of that stuff. Why is your politician saying all that crap? That's stupid. Really, that's the reaction that people get. And that's why Donald Trump, he keeps, poking the bear and saying funny stuff. Like the idea of turning Lake Ontario into Lake America, I think is freaking hilarious. And America laughs at this because it's funny. It's funny that he could just do that. And then what are you going to do about it? We all call it Lake America now. If you don't like it, well, SOL. In fact, I made a new design for everybody. If you want to go check it out, this is the Lake America design for the Lake America shirts that are now available. We definitely went with a design that looks like you just went and visited some like lake house vacation spot from the 1980s or 90s. So go check that out. It's subtle. A lot of dummies won't get it, and you'll be able to get that signal from a lot of the cool people in the crowd. But it's up on the store. The link is in the description down below. If you're in the United States, you can get it on Amazon as well and save money on shipping. But it's not just there, right? Some of the good Canadians that have a sense of humor are even jumping in on this. We got National Roast here with this good one. He says Trump renames Ontario Dontario after public spat with Doug Ford.
Nice. That's pretty good.
And it's great, man. It's great because this is what we need, right? Canada always tries to pride itself, or you always remember this. Canada was always this like, well, we got a great sense of humor, unlike those Americans. You would always hear that, right? It's like, no. Canada's the one with no sense of humor in this whole thing.
Well, so lefties have no sense of humor. It's because they can't come up with cool things like, they're not that good at making memes. They're not that good at they're so dry. That's not academic, it's just, the thing is they're not good at it. So they get mad. They get so mad that, one thing that I'm really looking at right now and trying to see is Mark Carney, what he did with this trade negotiation, it appears that he went and strung, because they said, oh, this is a great deal. Donald Trump said it was a great deal. Mark Carney said it was a great deal. We're going to have this amazing trade deal. And 1 minute before 12, they tear it up. They did. Mark Carney did that to embarrass Donald Trump, to make him feel embarrassed, and then come back and look at me. I'm like this globalist guy that could do, harm Donald Trump. So I have a feeling that Donald Trump's going to have the last laugh. And
by far, definitely. You're absolutely right. That prediction is solid. No, that's actually absolutely the way it's going to go.
For the comeback. I'm like, wow, that was really ballsy for Mark Carney to do that. Donald Trump's going to wipe you up, man. Like, yeah, you're going to put yourself in a tough position. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. And it could be severe for Canada, unfortunately. There was an analysis done where if the United States wanted to take over Canada, which they aren't, I'm just saying the analysis, it would take 15 minutes. They would get a bunch of the Blackhawks and some other helicopters. They'd fly to all the municipal buildings and government buildings. Within 15 minutes, the country would be taken over. Can you believe that? 15 minutes. 15 minutes. The cops wouldn't even, there would be like, yeah, we're so sorry. Like, here, take it. It's done. Like the country's
keep your fobs at the door. That's
yeah. Oh yeah, here, take it.
Just take it.
Take it. I'm so sorry about the elbows. Sorry about that.
What is it? I think it was the Globe and Mail. They worked with military leaders to figure out a scenario if there was a land invasion from the United States. And and we're talking experts on military operations and looking at what Canada has militarily and what the United States has, and even at its current standing, with, even if they had depleted this or that. America, they said, at worst would take 2 weeks.
No, 15 minutes, Clyde.
No, at worst. 2 weeks. Professional said 2 words.
If a Black Hawk helicopter came with the whole weaponized
discombobulator, man, or the Trump discombobulator,
they pulled out in Venezuela, like heavily guarded, like just sucked them out of thin air, like so, like it's just I don't think.
Did you hear about that? Did you? Okay, you heard about the Venezuela thing. Did you hear about the discombobulator?
Yeah.
So people were actually reporting on this, that the people guarding Maduro just suddenly started getting like crazy headaches and started like throwing up and stuff. And the Delta Force came in. There's like
it's a frequency that they were bleeding out of the ears. It fries the people.
Microwaves your brain.
Yeah, it fries you, but you basically you can't function with this high pulse. Yeah, it's state of the art, new stuff. Yeah, I know. I mean, the U.S. is the #1 army on the planet. Let's be real.
Put it this way: the United States has the biggest air force in the world. The United States Navy has the second biggest air force in the world. So America has the 2 biggest air forces on the planet. Like you just, come at me, sanction an army and come at me, bro. Like it's not a war. But the thing is, America doesn't want a war with Canada. The politicians want a faux war that they're not going to have any consequences of dealing with the fallout or any of this other stuff, and they want to do it for popularity because they know they've got a giant propaganda machine that's going to garner crazy support from people who have been, they've been primed for this for decades and decades, to dislike the Americans and rah, I don't care if the guy's not looking out for my interest, but I'm going to rally behind him because Maple Leaf. It's insane.
Clyde, I'm buying one of those Lake shirts, Lake of America. I like it. just to piss off some of these liberals.
Oh, that's so awesome! Yeah, everybody get over and get I'm so proud of this design. I worked on this so fast.
Okay, listen. There's another design.
Meme, I'm like, this is the greatest.
There's another design. The guy with the barbecue that's sitting on the chair? That'd be really good too.
The guy with the barbecue sitting on
Yeah,
the I don't know this design.
Yeah, so like if you look it up, there's a guy that has for 4th of July. He's sitting on a lawn chair that's on a board, and it's ripping through the lake. And he's got a barbecue, and he lifts the barbecue, and the smoke goes right into his face.
I know the meme. That's the
Yeah, you just put that there. That would be perfect. Just perfect.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love that. I just thought a speedboat with the American flag. Lake America. I definitely like that. But yeah, head on over to the store. The links are in the description down below. Get yourself one of those. And we'll get those out to people, and you can go piss people off. Other people are pissing people off and doing it for fun, out of spite and whatnot. There's this one house that went viral today in Calgary with American flags and Trump flags on it. Great. I encourage this stuff. I encourage this. Absolutely. Get on it.
It's pretty ballsy, though. I mean, the elbows up are pretty insane. I mean, I've seen some videos I posted on my channel. A guy that said, if I see you, I'm encouraging everybody to throw an egg at your head if you're wearing a mega hat in public. Yeah, I mean, he's walked it back now because he got thousands upon thousands of people are pretty pissed about that comment, saying if I just wear a hat, you're gonna egg me. So.
Well, the left, they have this thing where they feel entitled to be able to, they hate free speech. This is the irony of the whole thing. They hate free speech. They want to shut down speech, especially the MAGA hat. That's free speech. It's freedom of expression.
Yeah.
And they want to shout that down, but they don't care about the one limitation on free speech that's actually justifiable. Threats of violence. You're not allowed to go threatening violence to people. That's where your protection under even in America, the protection under the First Amendment stops right there. It's like, no. You threaten violence, now that's a criminal offense. You can go to jail for that. It's bad. But they feel so free and so entitled to do all of this stuff. It's unfreaking believable.
No, words are violence to them. If you say something, they think that you've just chopped them up. Like, it's ridiculous. I mean, we can't be that soft. We have to, all part of like growing and improving and, competing with people is to have different ideas and challenge those ideas to come up with an even better idea. If you shut down conversation altogether because a word might hurt your feeling, like words that are hurtful are truthful words. That's the best way to get to the right side, to get to a correct answer, is to be upfront. It's going to be painful at first. It's just like a lie. If you lie to somebody, you can never recover from that. Like then you don't trust the person. But if you tell somebody the truth, for example, I always tell people, I say, just tell me the truth. Please just tell me the truth. I can't guarantee you that I'm not going to be pissed. I probably will be, but tomorrow or the day after or whenever, maybe it takes a week, depends on what it is. When I get over it, I'm going to have a newfound respect for this person. Yep. And we're going to be able to work together to get to the other side. So when you are honest to people, it'll hurt at first, but later on, you've built something together. You built respect. You built, hey, I appreciate you told me that, even though you knew it would be difficult. That's how society should function. We need to be unapologetic. We need to be challenging people's ideas. We can't shut things down. We need to be combative. We need to have different ideas. We need to, wear a Lake of America shirt. And I don't care if you don't, if it pisses you off, right? You're not going to come at me and start throwing eggs. That's ridiculous.
It reminds me of a clip from Jordan Peterson where he talks about being offended. With what's her name? Who's that?
I'd love if you played the Don Cherry 1990s. I posted on my X account clip, unapologetic about it's time to be unapologetic. I think it's a perfect time to view that. That's how we need to be. Yeah, we need to be.
Where on your timeline is it?
Just look at Don Cherry. Just write it on the top. It will come up right away on my timeline.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it was 1990, so consider that. I mean, probably today it would appear quite racist, but the whole point is that we need to stand for something and you know, protect our country. You know, this is what we need to be patriots again.
Here's Don Cherry.
I am sick and tired of Canada kowtowing to the rest of the world. I heard a politician say, we have to be careful because the rest of the world loves us. No wonder they love us. We're weak. We're spineless wimps.
I think half the things you say are a
It's
bunch
true.
of crap. And you're telling me you can't stand criticism?
I can't stand criticism, but what I do is
Somebody who dishes it out like you?
I take it where it comes from people like you. It doesn't bother me, left-wingers. The people that drink the beer agree with me. What do you hear? Honest to God.
What
I'm
are they
not
thinking
trying-
about these days?
What are they thinking about? They're ticked off. They're ticked off, and I try to tell you this, they're ticked off at the foreigners coming over here earning the dough. This is what I hear from.
Are you a safety valve for people who are stewing about all kinds of stuff, or
I
are
can't-
you dangerous?
I don't know whether I'm dangerous. I just say
What is it?
what I think. And it's the way I think. You could say it's bigotry if you want. I don't think it is. I'm pro-Canadian, more so than I'm anti-Soviet or anti-Swede. I wish more Canadians were like me. We let people come in and take our fish. And the people are starving down there. Then people come in and wreck everything on us. They come in, and it wouldn't happen if I was in Parliament.
There's not a party in Canada would take you today.
I've been
with
asked
what
by
you're talking
three.
about and what you're
I've been asked by two. Which ones? Liberal and conservative.
and they want Don Cherry in
Yes.
there talking about
Especially the
complaining
conservatives.
about the immigrants.
They
Especially
want
the
people that
conservatives.
people like. That people like on TV. How could you not like me on TV if you're a Canadian? Good old boy like me.
This guy, he had the cojones to just say whatever he wanted. He could have been the Donald Trump of Canada, the guy who's just not unafraid of just saying it and offend all the precious little snowflakes. But who cares, man?
But
that's what needs to happen.
We need people to speak truth, right? Speak truth.
Yeah.
Speak from the heart and actually fight for this country. Like it's like that, like you care about it. Like we need to go back to being patriots for our country, putting our country first and fighting for something. That's what gets people up and start like actually working hard for something. We've taxed people to there's no incentive to work hard in Canada. 50% of your wages goes to taxes.
Yep.
If you make more, you get taxed more. And then you see us throw money away across the planet for poop signs and gender this and equity that. And then you see people suffering on the streets where they can't afford to eat food and people are losing everything. Like we've seen basically the insolvency rate is back to where it was in 2008. Right now, when they're telling us affordability is the best it's been in over a decade, we're the fastest growing economy in the G7. We're seeing people get
None of that is
decimated
true.
right
How do they get away with saying that stuff?
It's
And,
because
like,
they control the Statistics Canada. It's all the numbers. They don't show us where the numbers come from. Like if you ask, you just see it says, they don't. I look at all the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I mean, prior to me making content, I was a commercial real estate expert doing commercial loans for 14 years. All I do is look at data sets and sheets. I go into all of the stuff. I look at it and I try to piece it together. I also publish on X some of the, data sets when they come out and give my take on it. And they're not fully transparent. And often they fudge the numbers by unloading millions of people into the country. But then you look at the other side where our standard of living, like right now, the median income in Canada is 55,000 and America, it's 90,000. We used to be at par before the Liberals took over. We had our dollar used to be stronger than
the dollar.
US.
The dollar goes further here too in America. Gasoline right now is expensive. And my friends here in Texas are like, wow, this is crazy expensive. You know what it costs for a gallon of gasoline?
I filled up at 209 yesterday.
It's about $3.50 average right now. And that's expensive. For a gallon.
Yeah, a gallon. So
yes,
it's just for everybody that the Americans out there in Canada, we do liter and it's $2.09 a liter, which is you know, eight something, 8.50. So it'd be like I would say it's what, $7 a gallon, 6.75 a gallon. This is in British
This
Columbia.
is how you do this. So you say to Grok, you say, hey, in Texas right now, it's $3.49 a gallon. How much is that converted to liters and Canadian dollars?
Got it. So $3.49 per gallon. First, let's convert that to liters. A gallon is about.
Can you just skip to the answer?
Sure. $3.49 US per gallon is about 92 cents US per liter, or $1.28 Canadian per liter.
Dude, I just filled up at $2.09 a liter.
That's insane.
That means
That's insane.
That means it's all taxed. They're taxing us.
It's all taxed.
You know what's crazy? They're taxing us so that Canada could control the weather. Imagine that. We're going to be able to control the weather, guys. This is
You know, they're going to talk about this in the future, Mark. They're going to be like, yeah, so like a few hundred years ago, they had barber surgeons and they convinced people that if you let blood out of them and filled it into a bowl, they could cure the common cold or whatever. And they would take the blood and then they would wrap it around a pole, and it was the barber pole, right? And then they're like, and then about 100 or so years later, they taxed people to change the weather. And like, it's the same idiocy going on. You're like, what? Yeah. They actually, they taxed them into poverty as well. Like it wasn't like spare money that they could afford. No, they taxed them so bad that the economy crashed.
I'm just waiting for the day that they're going to be able to tax the sun. We're going to be able to control the sun. How much sun we get, you know, I can't wait for that one.
You know what's crazy is like Bill Gates Foundation, they actually wanted to put stuff in space to block the sun.
Yeah, I saw something of that sort.
You know how insane that is, considering this global warming thing is not actually happening.
No, but listen, global warming is good. Look at them. All of the civilizations in history, when it was warm, is when they flourished. They had more food, more everything.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
When
yeah,
it
I
gets
welcome
cold,
it.
we're screwed. If it gets cold, we're so screwed. If the planet gets cold, you can't grow anything. Things are done when it's cold. So every civilization, like the Roman era, as soon as it got cold, they got famine, and then they're done. Like the civilization's finished. Cold is terrifying.
Cold is bad. Heat is good.
Heat is good. Yeah, heat's good. Heat, like you know, they always say, hey, we got these mega storms, and there's just so much moisture in the atmosphere. Look at how much rain's coming out. The planet's climate has been changing since the beginning of the formation of the planet. It's always been changing. And if you look, it's like, have you ever thought, like, you know, 20, like us modern, you know, humans on like it, looking back at history, there's very little information. Like what happened? And I guarantee you it got cold. It got cold.
You know what's really weird is in California, I think they were digging up for a freeway, and they dug up human bones, like from over 13,000 years ago, and they just went, oh, can we just bury that back? Like it totally screws everything.
Yeah, that timeline doesn't work. Now we're gonna have to give the land to them. Who are these people?
Well, and they found it next to tusks and bones from woolly mammoths, and there was like tool marks in the bones of the woolly mammoths, as if they were like cracking the mammoth's bones open to get the marrow out for food. And it's like, but wait, that doesn't work. And then they're like, well, we're just gonna have to like figure out how that fits in the timeline. Okay, but why are they not digging in any of these other places in North America around the 13,000 timeline levels under the earth? And they say, well, because there's nothing to find. We wouldn't go there. That's just it. That's just the answer. Because our theory says that nothing will be there, so we just don't look. Like, this is nuts. We don't know what happened with anthropology. We have like this rough idea, but then everything gets upset when we look at things like the pyramids and Gobekli Tepe and what is now modern day Iraq, Mesopotamia, all these different areas. We don't know human history, man.
No, we don't know much. I mean, we piece things together, but we have no idea. I think there was most likely population collapses over and over again in history, and we're the next round of boom with our technology. Because how do they build the pyramids? I mean, we still don't know how they did that.
And it's not even just the pyramids too. I mean, there's there's this place in Iraq where they have these giant, like, big pieces of rock that are way bigger than anything in the pyramids that got moved from a quarry to this other area, and they can tell where it came from and where it moved to, but they're like, what? It's like the size of a building. Like, how did they do that? Like, it's astronomical. What had been done in the past, we don't know how long ago that was. That's just insane. So to think that we've got a tight grip on this weather thing, and it's just a one greenhouse gas. We just cut that stuff out, and then we're Club Met everywhere on the planet. It would be great. That's crazy. Because of that, Bill Gates Foundation wanted to blot out the sun. So this is where I was getting at. So, like, if they were to blot the sun out with this thing out in orbit, you can't undo that. It's what's done is done. Now you got this blot that will make the Earth colder. Like, actually do that would actually make the Earth colder. Unlike the fake warming that they're perpetuating this idea. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. It's bonkers, and we shouldn't like just accept that people will do that.
No, I mean, I think that people are obsessed with controlling things. Look at us in Canada. We have to micromanage and controlled from every aspect.
Well, you know what? You nailed it right there. And you're someone who works in business, finance, all of that stuff. And you know that micromanaging anything will ruin a company. Yeah. Any owner of a business, if the business grows, the first thing that they have to do is learn how to trust the people that work with them. You
empower people, because people want to do the right thing. People want to contribute. We want to feel useful. We want purpose in life. And when you take that away, then we're empty vessels fighting each other on the streets, and that's where we're at right now.
That sucks. And I've worked in environments like that where you get management that micromanages everything. You're like, yo, just trust me, I'll get the thing done. But they want to be on it, and they wear themselves out doing it too, right?
Those are the worst type of managers, like the ones that micromanage. Right away, if I worked in a company with a micromanager, I'd just walk right out. I wouldn't. My life is so short. I can't deal with people like that. Usually I put them in their place first and then I walk out.
Well, yeah, not everybody has the foresight to do that. But yeah, take Mark's advice, folks that are listening to this. If you work for a place, a lot of times there's no changing that. There's no convincing the guy not to micromanage. Your better bet is to tail and run.
No, it's unfortunate because usually the people have good intentions, but the problem is that some people have really deep insecurities, and their ego is also a challenge for, like, I built this company, or like the ego really gets in the way, and then they're also deeply insecure. So those people are dangerous. I mean, they're not great qualities, and your life is really short. You grow really quickly. Things happen. So you have to really look at your life and decide, is this the best environment for me to thrive in? And, what I always say, when one door closes, another one opens. Look at me. I was in finance for 14 years and now I'm doing content full time. I never in my life thought I would do content. I was actually a very private person before I went into content. You try to look at me up online there, you never see anything online. I was a very private person, but I woke up one day and I said, you know what? If there's somebody that in this country, or, for me, for a Canadian, if there's somebody that could get change, I said, if it's not now, then when? And if it's not me, then who? I truly feel deeply in my core that I can make a difference. It's a belief, and I strongly believe that I personally can make a difference. And the more people that think like me, that you feel like you could make a difference, man, we can move it. We can move the whole nation. And I made that decision. It was difficult for my wife because she's like, you have all this education, you got your, you went to business finance, and then you have your real estate license and your mortgage license. You have all this experience. You made it all the way up to the top level in your career. How could you do this? And I explained to her, I said, listen, if I didn't do all of these other things and grow and have all this education and background, there's no way I could do what I'm doing today. There's no way. I built my character of through the business and doing all the things that I did led me to this moment. So to her, she'd never understood, but I explained to her, and she's still trying to come around to it. But I explained, I said, it's not for nothing. Everything that happens in your life leads you to the next thing. So I'm thankful for all the things that I'm going through, but this is my next step. And I truly believe that this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do right now.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Wow. We're hearing a different side of Mark tonight. That's awesome.
Well, I'm just speaking the truth. I mean, a lot of people probably don't know any of this stuff. So I'm just sharing what
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. No, that's fantastic, man. That's absolutely appreciated. I took the other approach. I fought, and it just got to that point where, as an American citizen living in Canada, I had to cut ties. I had to break loose, go get it, go somewhere else. And
you have to take care of your family. Number one. I have friends, family. They've left. They've gone to the US, which is great. I have so many places I could go visit, so much family and friends I could go visit. So you never know. Like, I mean, right now I'm all in on Canada. I mean, I was born here. I love this country. But you never know where the future will take me. I mean, we're going down some pretty scary place right now. So I'm really hoping that I make that difference that I'm looking for, because we need change immediately in this country.
Well, I got your back, and America does too. And the thing is that Canadians, a lot of Canadians will probably feel isolated. This is why I want to bring the message to the United States of what's happening in Canada. There's so many podcasters. They don't know what's going on, and they're just confused. You hear about it, they're talking about it, and they're like, "What is up with Canada?" I want to bring that story to them so that Canada will come, or the United States and the people of the United States will back up the Canadian people once something can be done. We've seen it. Canadians stand up to the government. What happens to the Canadians that stand up to the government? They get beat up in the streets. That's what happened to the Freedom Convoy. Those people were heroes during COVID. And then they spoke up against the government, and everybody rallied behind them until the government said, you're not allowed to stand up for these people. We're going to cut your bank accounts off. And then people just went away.
That's why I'm looking forward to seeing what Donald Trump's next move is. He's been embarrassed by Mark Carney. It's time for him to make the move. I mean, he sees what he made a calculated error. I don't think he calculated. I think he just said, I don't care who gets elected in Canada. I'm going to do what I'm going to do for my people. He didn't know that, having a liberal would be so, like, he thought that it was Justin Trudeau that was a disaster. Little did he know every single liberal is the same. They're all the same. It's the same problems. And they don't negotiate fairly. They don't win elections fairly. They don't do anything fairly. It's you can't deal with them. It's really sad. And hopefully, there's a wake up call. We need help here. SOS. Save us.
All right, let's get into some of these chats here right out of the gates tonight. Witch's Vault jumped in and became a member of the channel. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. We've got Stomsen with a $20 super chat over on your channel. This is over on your side, Mark. And this one's love the show. Crazy times in Canada. Absolutely crazy times in Canada. And we've got I'm a conservative boomer. This is Trish Prue. Thank you so much for the 279. Says thanks for clarifying about some boomers. LOL. I get this every single time. There's a lot of boomers that watch the show, And when I say the boomer generation, like, yeah, you know who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you. Obviously, you lovely people are not included, but you can generalize in things. There are a lot of boomers that have done a lot of number of things. The electing of Mark Carney is one of those things. But obviously, the people who are watching the show didn't vote for Mark Carney. And, they're just got outnumbered by a bunch of people who are absolutely terrified of whatever fear that they instilled in people during the election. So that's what it is. Yeah. But yeah, definitely classifying which boomers, hashtag not all, folks. That's
no,
how
we see the boomers, the ones in the video with the knocking on heaven's door, because it's just, do you see that? Those are the boomers that we're talking about. The ones in the liberal video that are just knocking, and it's just that video went mega viral. Yeah. It's still going viral in the US, by the way. It's so embarrassing. That's the people that we are up against, guys.
So the thing of the proclaimers, I'll knock on 500 doors or whatever, but knocking on heaven's door cracks me up because they're the boomers, right?
But the thing is like, it's what's so sad is these people need to live their lives out in peace. In peace. Leave these boomers alone. Let them enjoy their life. They worked their whole life, and then you're gonna have them knocking on heaven's door. Please leave them alone. Let the boomers live in peace.
Yes, let them live in peace. All right, moving on. Kevin Stankiewicz for $10. Thank you so much. He says Trump should make America Trump should make Alberta a deal. If they vote for independence on October 19th, U.S. should recognize its independence. The U.S. military will protect Alberta if 5% of GDP for defense dollars is spent, and near free trade deal. Yeah, I mean, that's the deal Canada was offered. I think it was only 2%. Spend 2% of your GDP on military, and it would have been, you could spend it on beneficial stuff, anything, just whatever. Just gear up in some sort of way. Show that you actually want to defend this stuff, and you're not just going to rely on the taxpayer, the U.S. taxpayer, to take care of you if there's a situation. Yeah. That's so all they're asking.
I just want to mention one thing about this, the vote that's in October, it's not to actually independence. It's a vote to vote. So I would recommend anybody that's in the middle, even if you strongly disagree with it, I would recommend that you vote to have the vote. It will send a message to Ottawa. It will that, you know what, we're serious here. And so you're going to get concessions from that. So even if you're a liberal supporter and, I would suggest that everybody vote that way, because it's good for Alberta to be able to have that decision and fight for Alberta, because it's been years of Alberta sending, $40 billion a year for equalization payments, and then told, how to live their lives. You can't do any hunting. You're not allowed to do that. You can't have castle law. It's just absurd.
Yeah, it is absurd. It just got me thinking of all the different things that Alberta's put up with, and the money that they've spent on Ottawa. If it's only 2% military spending, I mean, that would be way less than what they're paying in transfer payments right there. They would save so much money by not paying the Canadian federal income taxes. That's just absurd. Moving on, Javelin Blue for 5 says, who's going to build your pipeline? You chased all your investments away. Absolutely. Doug Ford with his, we're just going to pop a pipeline in the ground. It's no problem. We'll have that done by Wednesday.
Who's going to invest in Canada when your politicians don't even look at a map showing that the pipeline goes to the US, then back into Canada? The stuff that you see is so dumb. Somebody with $1 billion looking at Canada going, man, they're just way too dumb up there. Now is not the time to invest anyway. If say Canada is forever going to be dumb and can't figure it out until the entire country collapses, wait until it collapses, then invest. So if you have the money to invest, you might as well just sit on it and wait, because Canada, any investment will be a lot cheaper later. You know, it's been 11 years of decline. A lot of Canadians are just sick of it. They're like, just be done with it already. You know, like it's just this trickle downward. They do it on purpose so that you just feel hopeless by the end. Like they just wear you down until you're working 3 jobs and you're renting a 4x4 box in the sky. And that's the Canadian dream. You know what I have to say about the Canadian dream? I reject their version of the Canadian dream. We need to dream bigger. And I fully reject their 2x2 rental box, working 3 jobs dream. Oh, no more kids, by the way. And if you do have kids, we're going to try to get them to convert. No, we're done with that. It's over.
Well, I did introduce to this store another shirt design. You'll love this one. This was the Canadian dream: get rich and move to the United States.
You should have put Mark Carney's face on that one.
Yeah, right. I wore this to the gym today, and people were cracking up at it.
Clyde, I got some upgrades for your shirts here, man.
Well, we'll work on some together then. That would be fun. But yeah, definitely go get yourself one of these, because this one cracked me up when we were making. Listen, we just have a lot of fun. You know, I work with my friend, a good friend Yuji. We built this company making these shirts, and we're actually having a laugh every time when we make these new designs. So yeah, we're gonna keep coming out with new ones all the time. I think you all enjoy it. We got another one from Javelin Blue for 5. He says they'll find out about this imaginary pipeline when gas and diesel go sky high when Alberta separates. Yeah, that'll be the case.
I mean, I hate to see people suffer, because a lot of people, I don't want to see it. No, you know what the problem is a lot of people, they have no idea what's happening. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. Is people are working so hard, they are uneducated towards these type of things. Of like, you know, they just look at Doug Ford and say, we're cutting off the oil, and you know, we know that you know, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the thing that Jesus said when he was on the cross? Forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Yeah,
that's something I always remember. But it's really unfortunate that these politicians don't actually have to bear the consequences of their own actions. Javelin Blue and another 2 says, wait until the foreigners turn on the police. Yeah, well, that won't be nice. That won't be a good situation. Not at all. We've got a bunch of foreigners that are turning on each other in the streets. I mean, what do you think of that, Mark? Like, they bring these people from other countries, and then they have their own like domestic. They're having their own domestic fights with each other, but in the streets of Canada. Like, it's unbelievable. We saw this over and over again. Every couple of months, a new thing flares up.
The thing is like, if I travel, say I travel to the United States or Mexico or any country in the world, when I come, I'm in my best behavior. I learn the rule. I learn the rules. I follow the rules. And not only that, is I'm clean, like really clean. I'm clean here, but like I'm a guest. And if I was coming, say I do move to the US and I become a citizen of the US, I would be like on my best behavior. I would be trying to build communities and contribute to the American life as a contributor. So these people are coming here causing problems. I mean, if you're not coming here to contribute, you need to go home.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Snap Food is that Snap Food for 1,000 jewels in the loot box. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. We also have Winiska with 100 jewels. High five. Thank you so much for that. Church of Hertz with 10 jewels. And this one's hiding. Okay, appreciate it. You know about the jewels, right? This is a new thing that YouTube's rolled out. It's on the mobile apps when people are watching it via mobile.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know about jewels.
Yeah, you can buy these jewels and then you gift them out to your favorite creators. Cool little system that they've got going on now. Nice. Got the shift has hit the fan for 5. Thank you so much. He says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm totally willing to pay $14 for a tomato and lose my job so Carney can win some by-election on Friday. Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know if you saw, but I tweeted, I said, you know, and it really pissed off the Liberal supporters because it's so true. It's like, you know, the price. I did the Shrek, the Lord
Farquaad.
Yeah. This is the price, you know, like I know, you know, basically I basically did a quote and I said, you know, I did it all for, right here. I know many of you will lose your job. Even more will skip meals or just stop eating altogether. But that's the price I'm willing to make in order to win a couple by-elections. Mark Carney.
Oh my God. That's brutal. And that's what it is. There's a couple of by-elections. There's 3 by-elections that are happening. What is it, on the 31st?
Yeah,
like
31st.
this week.
Yeah.
And this is what it's all about. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to come to the table and they're going to make a trade negotiation with Donald Trump, probably right after.
I don't know. Like, I mean, you know, I don't think they know what they're going to do.
They walk this stuff back so fast and don't talk about it.
You know, but think about it. Think about this. They might be calculating that they just. So I posted on my account this video for people. Go onto my Twitter account. Go down to and not for us because it's a 7-minute video, but it's Peter Navarro. He basically did a pretty good explanation of why the trade deal collapsed. And I believe at the very end is the most important part is, you know, Canada was offered the best deal and the next deal is not going to be as good.
The deal that was going to give them really favorable terms in terms of aluminum and steel, which we have another section 232 on. And that's like our bread and butter here. And I just want folks listening here at C-SPAN to understand that this is not a partisan issue here in this country. This is not a Republican or Democrat issue. This is simply an issue of protecting our workers, our ranchers, and our farmers. And Canada has really been exploiting USMCA, not negotiating in good faith. And Carney, I mean, the worst thing that ever happened to Canada was when Carney made a come from behind victory. He was down, I don't know, 30 points, and then he started his Trump derangement syndrome rhetoric and surged to win. And somehow, every time Carney dumps on Trump, the Canadian people reward him with political support.
Yeah.
I've said this repeatedly. I'm speaking right now to the Canadian people. I know a lot of them watch C-SPAN. You can't encourage Carney and especially Doug Ford to dump on the United States when we are trying our best to have a fair deal with you all, and you're just playing politics with somebody and a country which is far stronger economically than you are, and it just is not going to end well for Canada. And I predict that the deal you got, that you turn your nose up, you're never going to get that deal again. Whatever you get is going to be less than that, and that's on Carney, and that's especially on Ford, because if you look at like the back channeling that was going on there, apparently like Ford was like the devil in Carney's ears, like, don't do this, and Carney, for whatever reason, backed down to the German Shepherd Ford.
That's unreal. And you know who's going to suffer the most for that? The people of Ontario.
Yeah,
that sucks,
it's
man.
so sad. So basically, like we're going to get a worse deal. And so what worries me is now that it's a worse deal, he can't sign any deal. And meaning they're probably going to want to do like a snap election in end of September. Now that the fear is at 1,000%, get the super majority. And then then they could sign a deal after that. Like they could sign a deal before Christmas after they have a super majority. And then Mark Carney has this 4 years to turn this Canada into a net zero fantasy, turn 30% of the country into parks, have all this carbon capture. And unfortunately, every single part of his net worth is and the how he's positioned it is to become a billionaire through becoming the Prime Minister of Canada. It's very sad what's happening in this country.
Yeah, he's exploiting everybody and shipping his entire net worth into the United States.
Yeah, that's the craziest part. He's all in on America.
Holy crap. I've got Trish Prue with another 279 says, I'm pro-choice. I like to choose Jack Daniels. I'm with you on that one. Absolutely.
Drink whatever you want. Like, don't, life's so short. Have a good time. Drink whatever you want. Don't have somebody tell you what you could do.
Exactly. That sucks. You just have to visit America to get it. Myron Ends for 5 says, this is where you need adults in the room and keep the liberals out of it. Yeah. Because, I mean, they're sabotaging it. Totally agree. Light for 2 says, both of you are terrific. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Jeff Robinson for 5 says, Canada, Ontario, and Quebec. The 51st state. It's the blue state just north of New York. Yeah, that's right. The very, very blue Democrat state. And, the Democrats they've lost their freaking minds. Have you been seeing what's happening down here?
Yeah, whenever I see him, like,
the DSA?
Yeah. It's
schizo,
wild.
Man.
It's wild.
Is it ever?
Well, that's why I'm like, I saw Canada invited on all CBC, CTV, Newscum. Are you kidding me? Newscum. And then Newscum came and said, look how great California is. There's like all this stuff. It's like, dude, man, you have, California burned to the ground in the huge fire last year.
Yep.
And there's so much problem in California. I don't know what he's talking about. But he's coming.
It's a whole people leaving, dude. Like it's so prevalent that Californians are leaving Texas that now there's they call it like the California boom in certain areas, and people are like, okay, enough Californians, and like when you come here, leave California at the door. Like that's it. People talk about it like, oh, the way Californians are when they get here. It's
when I see that guy, I just see the devil's face. He's a scary looking dude.
He's a psychopath.
Yeah, he's scary, man.
Yeah, he reminds me of the guy from American Psycho. Like he fits the mold.
Yeah, you just look at that like empty shell inside. You're like, wow. And he's an actor, and the way that he talks, there's nothing real about him. He's very fake, and very dangerous too. Very dangerous.
Yeah, he's more sophisticated Trudeau.
Yeah, he's not well.
We got Ficklenot for 699 says, so war was declared on Canada by the US, so Carney went to visit Europe. Is this a trend by Carney? Every time there's a crisis, he goes to Europe. Yeah, it is a trend. And America didn't declare war on anybody. America is just saying there's a new trade policy.
If America declared war on Canada, 15 minutes, guys. 15 minutes.
15 minutes. It would be over. They'd have Doug Ford and Carney in the Maduro suit,
The liberals,
the water bottle.
Listen, the liberals wanted a 15-minute city. Maybe what they meant was 15 minutes.
That's all it takes.
15 minutes.
Delta Force. It would be faster than Maduro. At least Maduro put up a fight a little bit.
They wouldn't need those advanced warfare or anything. It just come in and they could probably walk across the border. It's ridiculous.
Angela Jenner for $5. Thank you so much. Says it was awesome to see you, Mark, at the JCCF event last week. Although I didn't get a chance to chat.
Yes, you should have came in and chatted. I was looking forward to speaking to. That's actually why I went. I went to talk to. Obviously, I went to support the JCCF, and I was there to see people there too. So next time you see me, say hi.
Absolutely, yeah. Mark's a friendly guy. We've met up a few times. It's been fantastic. Angela Jenner with another 2 says, awesome episode as always. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Winiska for 5 says, the liberal Democrats are so afraid of AI data centers. I think they know that it'll be the end of them. Thoughts? Are they afraid of data centers?
You know, I think it's my thought on it is you always have to think before, what are they trying to sell us? Like, what are they're trying to fear and stuff. So like, I don't know. There's more to the data centers than what we know. You know, they're talking about data centers and they're so bad. There's something there. So if you get that gut feeling about something, and see, obviously there was a comment about the data centers, and you get that gut feeling, there's something there. You have to dig deeper. I don't know what I'll have. You know, we're doing data centers downtown Vancouver. I'm just like, what's going on here?
I think that's idiocy. That or it's that doesn't make sense. Like, why is it downtown? It should be way out in the middle of nowhere. Like, there's no reason why to have data centers so close.
I don't know. I mean, people are fearful of the data centers because, like, why do they need all our data? You know, like, I do have to say, when growing up in, you know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and it was a way peace. Like, it was a better time. I felt more relaxed. There's no cell phones. You could go out and just kind of relax. And now there's just so much, and they're collecting our data for everything. You go to McDonald's, you order something, they know you better than you know yourself. They know you're going to McDonald's. They know all these companies, Costco, they're all farming the data. That's why we need the data centers. But what are they doing with all this data? Eventually, and then AI, yeah, I mean, let's put it this way. We have a Mark Carney running Canada. So if the wrong person gets in charge of the wrong thing, it's scary. That's for sure.
Well, put it this way. So Doug Ford kind of frightened me a little bit when he was like, we need to make sure we get this data center built here because we don't want Donald Trump having access to your data, that kind of thing. That's like a crazy thing, because what is he saying? He's saying, I want access to your data.
No, I know
that the government should be able to have access to the data. The reality is Donald Trump does not have access to data in data centers. That's ridiculous to assume that that's the case.
When he said that, I was like, who's going to protect us from our own government? Like, I was like, holy crap, like, you're going to be having access to this thing? This is nuts.
So get this. So, you know, Apple, for example, Apple is this big, giant, evil corporation that does what are big, giant, evil corporation stuff. But one thing that is paramount to being able to function as a business for them is to keep people's data secure. And in fact, there have been cases where people have gone to, you know, backwards countries in Europe and stuff, and they've had their cell phones taken from them. And they say, and these backwards countries say, we want the data out of it, and then people are like, no, you're not getting it. So they contact Apple and they say, you have to give us this. It's by our laws. And they're like, yeah, but all of our data centers are in the United States of America. The data is stored there. You can't break into the device. We're not going to compromise our security, and you can kick rocks, right? That's it.
But Canada tried to build a backdoor for that with Bill C-22.
That's why data centers, you don't want your data in Canada, folks.
No.
You don't want your data in Canada at all. So the United States is like the place for data. Let's just say it sucks that Canada can't abide by, you know, privacy laws and all this stuff, because Canada would be a great place to put data centers way up in the north where like nobody lives. That's like the place where it should be, where you don't need such refrigeration to keep the things cool, all of that stuff. By the time, you know, the big crews would go up and build them, but by the time these data centers go up, this is the other thing when politicians tell you they'll man thousands of people all the time. It's not going to create thousands of jobs. It'll be construction jobs when they make it, and there'll be like a skeleton crew to just watch after it and change broken parts. Like that's all it is, really.
I just you know, we already have overwhelming amount of radiation around us with everything that we have. It just seems like these data centers would be like just an overload. I would not be living anywhere near these data centers. And for them to build it downtown Vancouver, you know, there's like tens of thousands of people that live down there. To me, it doesn't make sense.
It's not good, and it uses the resources and of the area, so the infrastructure of the area. This is why Donald Trump is another thing why the Donald Trump I think did a great job on. He fast-paced legislation to make it so that all the red tape's cut for all these data centers that want to put it up, because they couldn't build the power to power them. So they were going to places where they could build the center and then leech off of the power of an existing neighborhood or existing grid. Now they're allowed to build their own power stations. See, they can produce their own power right next to the thing and not disturb anybody. So they can go remotely way away from all the towns and away from people, away from population centers.
Yeah.
Go out that way.
So I saw a comment and there is some truth to it. So the data center that's in Vancouver, they want to make it a green data center where they use the excess heat to heat homes and also to give hot water to residents and stuff. So it's not they're going to capture the heat and use it. So it'll be 100% efficiency. The thing is that still doesn't eliminate the radiation issue.
And the hum, apparently these things have just like tremendous hum coming off of them.
You know how it is you try to create one solution, especially with this like green stuff, you try to create one solution, then you create a humongous other problem that you didn't think about. For example, this carbon capture that they want to carbon capture. Well, where's the carbon going to go? They're going to pump it underground. What happens if the ground cracks and then the carbon comes out of the ground? You wouldn't live very long if there was a leak. Oil, if there's a leak, I mean, you'd be fine, but there would be, clean up all that. But if there's a leak for CO2, anything downwind would you'd suffocate and you would be finished. So there's
it's so ridiculous.
It's a deadly gas once it gets. So you pipe it on the ground, and then what happens if something it cracks and it surfaces somehow? So there's a risk that you're creating from doing something like that, when in reality, all you have to do is plant trees, manage forests, like
farmers fields. I mean, the amount of photosynthesis that's happening above a cornfield, like the oxygen levels above a cornfield are off the charts.
Yeah, but Brookfield doesn't make money from planting a tree.
And that's you nailed it. You nailed it. There's no better explanation right there. Right there. That's it. All right. Myron Ends for 5 says, I have a couple of boomer relatives that have stopped talking to me because I'm conservative.
Oh, that's too bad. You know what? I mean, you know what? So I have like family members. They all have different points of view. We try to just keep politics away from family discussions, because at the end of the day, you love everybody, love your family. And I'm really saddened to hear that. It's just, and I know people are really upset and angered right now, and you try to, convince somebody in your family and it causes a fight. I think the best way to help is to, maybe create content, and then your family member watches you, and then maybe you can convert them that way. But, ultimately, or get involved, like, hey, the Liberals got all those boomer door knockers. Go out and knock doors for a conservative, try to talk to the public, or just get involved. Or I had a Stockwell Day on my show for an interview. And I really liked what he had to say. I said, where have you been? Like, I haven't seen you in so many years. Like, haven't gone anywhere. And then he blew up and got all viral in the last month. And so I really wanted to talk to him. I was like, hey, you have ambitions? He said, no, I decided that I wanted to stop being silent. I have these young nephews and nieces that I look down on, and I'm like, I don't like the Canada that we have. And, I felt like I have a strong voice, so I'm not going to be silent anymore. And I'm like, wow, thank you. So, and his recommendation was stop being silent. Stop holding it in. Be more vocal with, like I said, you don't have to be correct. Like, you just speak your mind, tell people how you feel, and but for your family and friends, love them unconditionally, regardless of who they support. That's my That's all I have to say about that.
So a little mixed signals there because you're like,
No,
don't mention it with the family, mention it with everybody else, kind of thing. I've actually taken an approach this way, and I think it's been so long that liberals will inject their politics into everything, so much so that they don't even think that they're doing it, right? Here's the thing. Here's what happens all the time at family dinners. Liberal members of the family are like, oh yeah, so would you like some corn, or would you like some of the carrots? I haven't seen carrots this orange since Donald Trump. And it's always got to be something to do with their politics in everything, and it really gets irritating. And I think that it's high time that people on the right side of the aisle, conservatives, don't shut up, because what happens is you pipe up and you respond to one of these things, and then they say, why do you always got to bring politics into it? They put the onus on you that you're the one bringing up politics, and I think this is where we need to start acknowledging the fact that it's the liberals that always bring up politics. So start calling people out at the dinner table when they say, oh, blah, 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 Donald Trump. Blah. You say, would you just leave politics out of it? Can't we just have a nice dinner? Call them out on it.
Yeah.
Don't leave it until you get frustrated and you finally say, like, yeah, well, I actually happen to like Donald Trump, and then I can't believe it. The whole family loses their shit, and it's like, he ruins dinner, he ruins Thanksgiving every time. No, like, just call them out on it. Would you leave your politics at the door? Thanks, Susie. Yeah, that's great. The casserole reminds you of how horrible Donald Trump is. That's great. Call them out every single time, because
and
they'll just get away with it more and more.
Humor is so important too in life. Like I always have sarcasm as my favorite, but if it gets heated, just use some humor. Do a joke, and then it will lighten up, and you could change the topic. It's a good way.
Yeah, I'm tired of it being always the conservatives that shy away, and the liberals just have free reign over the culture. That needs to change. If we're going to reclaim the culture from a conservative side of things, we're only going to do it through confrontation. So I'm saying don't shy away. That's my thing, but I stir the pot.
Somebody says I've lost my humor. No, don't lose your humor. I'll make you laugh. Come and watch my show. I try to make people laugh when I deliver the devastation.
Absolutely. Get on over there. Waniska for 5 says Trump announced he's getting rid of visiting visas. Look out, Carney. When did he announce that? What, visitors visas or not? There's been some revamps on the visitors visas. Canadians have to pay for them now, and that's like something that a lot of people were uppity about. But everywhere else in the world is paid for visitors visas for the longest time. ESTA, like my wife's a Japanese citizen, so when she would go to the United States before, she'd have to fill out the ESTA form and all that stuff.
Most countries have visa fee.
That's typical.
The problem is when the US is the reserve currency for people that goes like, damn, like for a Canadian, it's like you have to pay $32. Well, I don't know what it is, but it's like, it's for a Canadian, it's like $50 for like entry fee. What, yeah.
But it's good for I think it's 6 months for a Canadian.
I don't know. I mean, I just cross, I don't pay anything. But if you need to get a visa, right? Which is many people, if you're not a Canadian citizen and you're trying to cross the border, you'll have to get a visa.
No, Canadians now have to pay at the US border. So
through the car?
Yeah, through the car. So you have to actually pull off to the side, and you have to go and you pay the teller, and then you get back
for every single Canadian. Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, I mean, if I would say if they're gonna do that, they should just do it for 5 years, just like or 5 or 10 years. Just pay one fee, because they're trying to raise money for the border guards and all that. That's basically what it is. U.S. is like so for people that are angry about this, the U.S. is kind of like when you go into a national park or something, you pay a fee to upkeep whatever you're utilizing. So if you're utilizing the border to go over, then they're collecting money to pay for these people instead of burdening the taxpayer. You're the one that wants to come to America. So that's kind of their mentality. So I totally get it. But if it's like, every 6 months, it's an inconvenience for someone that's has to go into the thing every 6 months if you're crossing the border. I get that side of it. It would be an inconvenience. They should do it if they do decide to do it, just do it for 5 or 10 years and then pay a yearly, whatever it is. If they want to do every 6 months, you have to pay. They could offer it. Say, hey, you could pay.
Looks 31. Like if you have Nexus, you only pay every 5 years. That's it. That's
okay.
Angela Jenner's saying.
Well, that's good. So, that makes sense. So like if you pay, if they give options, you go, hey, here's 6 months, $31. If you do 5 years, you pay like 200 or whatever, or whatever they do. Yeah. So,
and it's a security check if you do the Nexus thing. So Nexus is actually quite nice if you have to go through the border often, because you get the fast line. And it's it's great. It's really nice. All right, next one from Jasmine Lane, Jammin.
Oh, Jasmine.
I had Jasmine on the couple of weeks ago. It was a riot, a lot of fun. I need to just do a show with both of you together. That'd be a lot of fun.
You know what? I don't think have I done a show with Jasmine? I don't think I have.
I don't know.
I don't think I have.
Because I know all you guys so well that I just assume you guys know each other so well. Right?
Yeah. I know Jasmine. I love Jasmine. She's great.
She's
I think
fantastic.
What's really interesting about the voices, the conservative voices in Canada, is that everybody has a unique voice.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's the same. Everybody's unique in their own way. And that's what I really like about, the conservatives, is that everybody has their own way of delivering things. Like Moose on the Loose. I mean, the guy's a genius when it comes to piecing together all of the data points and the story and what's going on. He's a brilliant at what he does. I appreciate the work he does, and everybody has their way of doing it, and that's what we have to do. And so for people out there, you are a special person. You're gonna be a voice as well, and do something. It's gonna be unique. Everybody's unique. Everybody has different creativity. I'm kind of goofy, and I like data, and I try to have fun. That's my personality, and I try to deliver things in a fun way where we're joking, but we're also serious at the same time. So that's just how I am. That's how I do it, right? Keep it real. Keep it the way you are.
Yeah, Jasmine says, Mark, so happy to see you on with Clyde.
Yeah, awesome. Nice. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do a podcast all together one of these days. That'd be a lot of fun. We got Fickle Knot for $13.99. Thank you so much. Says, Carney is like the Islamic regime in sacrificing the people rather than negotiating with Trump. Wow. Yeah, you're not wrong. Not wrong. Wow. Just, didn't think of it in that sense, but yeah, absolutely. T-Mac 1970 says, for $5, I think the data centers are for technocratic control, digital ID, and CBDC. Not a fan. You could be absolutely right on that.
I think there might be when you see like people like Mark Carney pushing it makes me nervous for sure, because ultimately he wants full control. I think there's maybe this aspect, and then obviously there's the collecting data for, to be able to sell us, it's all about just trying to keep us enslaved and stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I'm reiterating a little bit here, but it's like, I'm nervous about questionable regimes holding data.
Yeah.
I'm fine with data in America. And I think, I'm not 100% fine with it. Obviously, I'm not 100% fine of anything being stored in one particular place where, espionage could take place or anything like that. But I think the safest place for it in the world right now is America at this point. Canada, very, very questionable.
Yeah, and after everything we know with the Liberals, do you think that you want to have trust the Liberals with your entire life's data? That's a scary thought.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Yeah.
They think pipelines, they think they can cut off the pipeline that doesn't exist and come back through the US. It's just ridiculous. You want to cut off that pipeline? That means you get no oil.
They're
Those
insane.
people are going to get our data? No, thank you, man. Don't touch my data.
But Donald Trump might get your data.
No, and you're not getting it. I rather Trump have it than somebody that thinks cutting off a pipeline is going to lead to like, yeah, we're going to win this. Just ridiculous.
Unreal. And then we got the Mambos DVS for $5. Thank you so much. Says MC is not real. MC, I'm not sure what that abbreviates it. He gives me clone vibes for sure. Mark Carney, I'm guessing, is not real. He gives me clone vibes or severe MK Ultra. Really? Yeah, I mean, Carney's got a long career of being a crony. I mean, how far back does it go? I mean, I think I got this one thing today that I saw that I was like astonished by, and I gotta find it. But Mark Carney has been, yeah, here it is, right here. Share this one. Mark Carney's been around advocating for this crap for a very, very long time. This is not new. Here it is from September 24th, 2012, saying Carney urges firms to reorient to China. And it's in quotes because it's like a play on words there. Because you're apparently allowed to say Oriental, sometimes only if you're a liberal. And then it's not racist. I don't know. If it's not a rug, or I have no idea why they say that. But yeah, this article was published more than 13 years ago. And he was trying to get Canada to push towards working with China all that time ago. This goes back a lot further, though. This goes all the way back to the Club of Rome, and that's a whole other episode. We could talk about all of that. Unbelievable.
So
but
I just saw a comment that says, leave your phone at home and pay in cash. And I'm like, if you're married and you're going out, a wife, that's yeah.
Cash is king. I always have cash.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, what about your phone? You're gonna leave your phone at home?
Oh, heck no. Yeah, no, that's you can't. I mean,
they got us, man. You got to have your phone, because I have cash, but I usually have I also pay with my phone, right? And I have my phone, like, I mean, with if something happens with I have my kids, we're driving somewhere, something happens, I need to, just for peace of mind, that I have I could connect to something.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's no payphones anymore. That doesn't exist. So if you don't have your phone with you, you're SOL. There's no communication. Not happening. That's it. Yeah. Anyway, Mark, I want to thank you so much for joining me on tonight's show and filling in for Marty. There's some big shoes to fill, and you definitely lived up to it.
Hey,
it's always fun chatting with you.
Yeah. I don't know if the audience knows, but Marty and I share the same birthday. So it's only fitting that I repeat.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we're born on the same day, and then actually his wife is born on the same day. So it's all three of us. We share the same birthday. So when I found that out, I thought it was pretty funny. So hey, it's only fitting that the person that has the same birthday would fill in. Marty's he always has some really good commentary. I appreciate Marty. So you're right. Big shoes to fill for sure.
Absolutely. Well, you filled them great, and it was a lot of fun. And I hope everybody who's on this channel, on Clyde Do Something right now, if you don't know Mark Nixon, get on over to the Mark Nixon channel. Make sure you're subscribed and stick around. He does amazing content, and you're a whiz on all the platforms, though. You're out there on X, you're on Instagram, TikTok. Is there anything I'm missing? Facebook? You're everywhere.
Yeah, right. So my big push is Facebook and Facebook, X, and YouTube. I'm on the other ones. I blew up on TikTok, but TikTok seemed like I put stuff up. I barely post on there anymore. I got almost 200,000, and then I stopped posting because they kept flagging my videos for nothing. I didn't even do anything. I'm like, why are you flagging my video? It turns so woke. If you don't say just the perfect thing, it's like flagged. I'm like, you know what? Forget this. This is so frustrating. I want to contribute to creating content on platforms that are truly love creativity, love free speech. That's why on X, I'm posting, like you said, I post like sometimes 50 original pieces of content on X. Like today, I think I'm at like 43 pieces of content. Yesterday, like in the last, I go through waves. It just depends on the news cycle. But yeah, I'm if you want to know what's happening on my show. I often do content on X, so you kind of get a sense of what I'm going to do on my show. But you're going to want to watch my show because on X, I'm not providing any of the commentary, and I make my show pretty fun. So if you want to know kind of what's going on, go on to X because it's live, and then you'll get the show on YouTube.
So Blue Sky's out of the question.
Hey, I opened an account on Blue Sky just to see what people are doing. And then like after 3 days, I'm like, man, I'm starting to feel like it was rubbing off on me. I'm like, no, I got to I can't do this anymore. Like it was actually kind of, I'm like, you know what? I try to surround myself in my brain, like with healthy, like, you know, like the stuff they talk about over there. I'm like, no, I just can't pollute my mind with that kind of stuff.
I was over there. I think I lasted 2 days and I got banned.
Yeah, I know you did. I was watching. I'm like, oh, you know what? You're the reason that I went on there because I'm like, I want to see what he's talking about and start trolling these people to see, like, you know, like I went on there and they're absolutely nuts over there.
It's like 2 or 3 days I got banned. It was really bad.
You know what's interesting too is like it's like a cult where like there's no other perspective than whatever is like mainstream. Like they follow like a script. It's like there's no and what's really interesting is if the people within the cult, if one person has like an idea and puts it in there, they all like swarm and blow that person up. It's their own people too. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. It's
and
so
that's
crazy.
why they had to run over there because Twitter became a free speech platform. And they're like, we can't have that. We don't want free speech. We want to censor people's speech. We only want an echo chamber of this. And when people, I love, so X is great because, you know, on X, you know you've broken out into the algorithm with one of your posts because all the lefties start attacking you. And you're like, oh, nice. My post made it out past the, you know, just my followers. I'm actually getting out there into the rest of it. And then people are arguing with me. That's great. You know, you can't find out if you're on
Truth, you know what?
Not Truth Social.
My number one fans on X are my haters. They're the first person to respond. First person. Wow. They're like, I'm like, man, I love you guys. You guys respond within like 5 seconds. They're already responding. I'm like, well, this is guys. Thank you. Like, you know, I don't even care what they say. I'm just like, you guys are my number one fans. I love you guys.
Oh, that's great. Anyway, we're going to shut down the show now. Mark, stick on the line. I'll chat with you after we finish the live stream. But everybody, thank you all for joining. If you're on Mark's show and you've never seen my channel, my name is Clyde Nichols. I run the channel Clyde Do Something. You come on over. You'll learn all about what happens when you leave Canada and move to the United States. What kind of, everything that happens with that. So head on over and join us over here as well. So good night, everybody. Enjoy your evenings.